What's a happening, nerds? This is John Nerding Out with Cards, and I'm back with my second installment of Ozzie Smith Weekend. And it's been like a reoccurring thing, when I watch videos, and there's, like reoccurring cards that are identified with a set. And I'll go over some of those as this video goes on. And it's always been one of those things where it's like, somebody talks about a set or the iconic card from the set, and it's like, I it just never moves a needle for me. It was like, you know, the '84 Donruss Mattingly, great card, but I've never wanted one. I've never cared. The '89 Griffey, I've never wanted one. I've never cared. And it was, I don't know. I guess that just kind of makes me uh, weird in a sense. It's like, shouldn't I want those cards? And it's like when I watch baseball games, and it seems like every player has a necklace on, and some of them get kind of ridiculous. And it's like, I've never wanted to wear a necklace. Like, should I? Look at these guys, really dumb. But then at the same time, like another token is a lot of these sets are iconic because of certain cards, and so you see people picking up cards for nostalgia reasons, or they have the cards for nostalgia reasons, or because that's the player that they collect. And whenever, especially at the player collectors that I identify with, and they're showing off these cards, and it's just like, oh, Ozzy has a card in that set, and I have it too, whatever. But so I figure for this installment of Ozzie Smith Weekend, I'm going to show some super common cards, some very cheap cards that come from sets that uh, Ozzy's just kind of one of the Hall of Famers in that set, but it's not the set that um, they're iconic for other cards, right? And so, after his rookie card, of course, because now, the '79 set, its iconic card is the Ozzie Smith, and it's an iconic set because of that card, for the most part, right? But then you got the next year, you got the 1980, and we all know that this set is iconic because of the Ricky Henderson rookie. And that's another thing is like, a lot of these sets, they're the face of the set for cards and whatnot is usually rookie card dominated, or at least that's the way it appears to me, which makes sense, right? Because we all love rookie cards. 1983, that's where you got the big three. You got Tony Gwynn, Ryan Sandberg, and Wade Boggs. Now, I would say there's a fourth because of Willie McGee, but that's just me. The previously mentioned, you got '84 Donruss. This set is iconic because of the Mattingly. The '86 Donruss, the Jose Canseco rookie. And I would like to also mention the Fred McGriff rookie card. Shout out to JW's Dugout, John over there. '87 Donruss, very well known, but more so for the Maddox and the McGuire cards. But I got the Ozzy's the one that I want, of course. We got the '89 Fleer, known for the Ripken F-face card and all the different variations where it's blacked out, white out. It's got the buzz cut through like the middle of it, and all these weird things. I also think there's the Randy Johnson marble sign and its variations. But like I said, it's just one of those things. Like, I've never wanted those cards at all. I mean, the Ripken card is funny, but I've just never wanted it. But I've always wanted the Ozzy card. And then of course, like the previously mentioned '89 Upper Deck. Because of the iconic Griffey card. And I understand it's one of the most significant cards in hobby history, but it's just one of those weird things where I just never, ever wanted it. But that's, gets into, collect your own way, collect what you like, so I don't fault anybody for wanting all those cards. There's people who do like to collect the iconic cards, and it makes sense. It really does. You know, their values are much higher, and it makes sense. I totally understand that. It's just a weird thing where I've just never wanted them. The 90 Leaf, you know, because of Frank Thomas. 92 Bowman, Mike Piazza, Mariano Rivera. And the last card I pulled out to show is the 93 SP, you know, for the Derek Jeter. And I really kind of felt like, you know, thumbing through the binder, you know, you get to like 94, 95, 96, those years that are represented in here. There's not so much like iconic cards within those sets. It's more so that the sets themselves have a certain status, like the 93 Finest, you know, 96 Select. And so then naturally the more highly collectible players like Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, King Griffey Jr., it's the cards within those sets, but the sets themselves are iconic for different reasons. More so for like innovations and stuff, which I'm not getting into in this video. And like I say, it was just one of those things where it's just like, oh, what am I going to do this video on? And I was like, and it was through a discussion tonight that I had with some of the other guys. And they were talking about these, like, you know, they brought up a couple iconic cards, and it's just like, I've never wanted those. And I mean, and of course that's okay. I don't need reassurance from anybody, but it's like, I got the Aussies from those sets, and those are the cards that I've always wanted. I've never wanted the whole complete sets, and I've never wanted the iconic cards. But so I figured, you know, everybody sees like those cards, right? All the cards that I mentioned before, you've seen many, many times here on the YouTube for sure. You've seen many, many times yourself, either at a card show, a card store, you know, scrolling through the eBay or what have you. And I just figure I'd show my guy, Ozzie Smith, from those sets because it's my channel and I can if I want to. I thought it'd be like just a fun, you know, non-triggering, just kind of showing off of cards, talking about the cards that I like. And so, you know, like I said, this is how I nerd out. You nerd your own way.